Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or welcome to the channel if you are brand new here. For today's pick a card reading, we are tapping into ancestor energy today, but more specifically, we're going to ask your ancestors to give you advice on your current situation. So, especially if you've been kind of stressed or worried about something lately, if there's been like an obstacle or energy block in your way regarding some event or thing going on in your life, or maybe just in general, you're wondering what advice they'd have for you right now where you're at on your path, this is the perfect reading for you. So without further ado, let us pick our pile leaders to choose our piles with today. So ancestors coming forward for everybody viewing this reading right now, could you please give us the right cards that will guide them to the right message? Thank you. Okay, pick that one for pile 1. Pile 2, I've drawn for that. And pile 3. And let's unveil the cards. So for my pile 1, over here on the left, we have wish, despairing versus hopeful. For pile 2, here in the middle, we have portal, open versus closed. And last but not least, over here on the right for pile 3, we have reflection, outward versus inward. So just to reiterate, for my pile 1 over here on the left, we have wish. For pile 2 in the middle, we have portal. And for pile 3 over here on the right, we have reflection. But of course, you are always welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide which card draws you in most. I suggest always going with your first gut instinct. But whenever you are ready for your reading, drop down to the description box below and or the top pinned comment beneath the video. Click on the timestamp there for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about a message from your ancestors on advice about your current situation. See you there. Hello there, pile 1. Welcome today to your ancestor message advice on your current situation reading. As you recall, the pile leader you chose today to guide you to your message was wish, with the tagline of despairing versus hopeful. Very gorgeous card, as always. Set that over here to the left, as is our tradition. I'm getting the feeling that the ancestor coming through is someone that passed away in their sleep. Now, with ancestor readings, sometimes people can come through from a long time ago, even generations before we're even aware of what era they lived in, right? Sometimes they can come in recently, so I'm not picking up on a specific time yet, pile 1, but I do get the sense, like I said, that they did pass away in their sleep for some reason. So ancestor coming through, or maybe ancestors in general collectively for pile 1, could you please guide us to the right cards on advice for their current situation, maybe gleaning more into what's going on as well? Thank you. Yep, died in their sleep. Okay, first card is Spirit of Fire, internal validation. Spirit of Fire, internal validation. Okay, and then same thing with these cards. Okay, so the Citadel Oracle card that came out for you was the Tailor with the element of water. And the keywords here are attention to detail and pride. Now, I typically use this deck in ancestor readings to kind of guide us as to more of the identity of who is coming forward more prominently. So pile 1, like I said, someone who passed away in their sleep, and the Tailor speaks of someone to me who, they could have literally been a tailor in their lifetime. But this can also apply to people that maybe didn't do it professionally, like, a lot of woman, for example, did a lot of like seamstress work or like sewing clothes at home. But this speaks to me of someone who is very talented with their hands when it comes to fabric craft and like yarn and needlework, or maybe it could have been even crochet or knitting, things like that. Whatever is related to like textile work or like fabric making clothes, blankets, and things like that. I get the sense this is probably a feminine energy, specifically because of the element of water being prominent here. Okay. So I'll set that up here. Let's see if we can glean who else is coming forward. Attention to detail and pride. Right now, there's only seem to be one ancestor, but we'll see what else comes through. And then we also have our Lenormand for today. 3 cards for this one, please. More about the situation, thank you. Let's see, 1, 2. I'm going to take that one with it. It really wanted to come out. It was very prominent. So the Lenormand today is the book, the shedding snake, and the star, which is funny because your pile leader today was wish, which is, despairing versus being hopeful. And the star in Lenormand speaks a lot about having a goal or a dream or an aim of some sort, kind of like he's using this more archaic compass to follow. Well, this is technically Polaris because you can see the Big Dipper here. It's always just that direction away from the cup of the Big Dipper, right? Following his true north, following a goal, a hope of some kind. So I get the feeling that the situation going on that they're giving you advice on, Pile 1, is about... reading the Lenormand just bluntly, it's, let's see, a secret about the renewal of a hope or a dream. Or a secret knowledge of renewing a dream or a hope. So if there's something in your life recently, Pile 1, where you were going after a certain thing. Now that can be something to do with your career, that can be after like a relationship, it can be whatever it is that you've been desiring lately. It seems like the situation they're talking to you about, there's been a little bit of a bump in the road. Okay? A little bit of a obstacle in reaching the end of that goal or getting it to at least the place that you would desire it to be, I guess, is the best way to speak it, that message more generally, okay? Because, like I said, the Lenormand here basically is speaking of, with the symbolism matching with the wish, right? You want something, and it's like you want the answer of renewing, or like the secret behind renewing that dream or that hope or that aspiration. So that could mean like you had your chances at a promotion at your job and then it didn't work out, and then you're like, oh man, like I hope another opportunity comes along. Or just for another example, Pile 1, it could be, what's a good example? It could be like a relationship where it didn't work out with that person, but you're hoping that, maybe they'll return, or maybe you went on a first date and you're not so sure about like how the first date went, and you're like, oh man, like I hope it does renew, like I hope that dream does come alive of where this thing keeps going and it keeps cycling instead of just getting stuck and I'm having to like leave this by the wayside. Does that make sense, Pile 1? So for many of you this might apply in different ways, but in either case, the secret to the renewal of a dream or a hope that you're wishing for, right? Like your pile leader says. And the Spirit of Fire card here is interesting because this is all about, it's kind of like what it says on the 10, internal validation. That is where your soul meets the element of fire, which in cartomancy is usually about like ego or willpower or creativity or passion, okay? Having confidence in oneself. Confidence is really another great keyword with the element of fire in cartomancy, okay? So I think part of what's holding you back, or maybe causing a lot of the seeds of doubt to grow in your mind, Pile 1, with this dream, is a lack of confidence in self, or like a lack of self-esteem in general on whether or not maybe you feel like you deserve it, or you feel like, am I good enough for this thing? Like, especially if it's like a job or a relationship, things like that. And so that's what your ancestor that's coming forward wants to talk to you about. And like I said, just to reiterate, this ancestor seems to be a feminine energy coming forward, someone who likely worked with their hands a lot with textile work or fabric, needlecraft, things like that. Maybe literally were like a tailor or a seamstress making dresses or suits and things like that. Passed away in their sleep was another message that came forward earlier. And then I also want to say they had very piercing eyes is what's also coming forward. Not necessarily anything about the color of their eyes, but their eyes are just very... like either they were very large eyes, like they were, like, you know, some people just, like they look like they have just very open eyes, right? Or there was something about the aspect of their eyes that was just very, prominent or piercing. Piercing is probably the best word I want to use, so. And I'm going to ask and see if there's any intuitive messages coming through from them as well. Here, just one second. Yeah, they're saying you're hoping it'll work out, is the main sentence coming through. Praying, hoping it works out. Like, please, 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 is another message coming through. So it's almost like, I don't know if you've been begging the universe for this to work out, pile one, something like that, but it's like, you've been sending prayer, you've been sending wishes, you've been hoping to manifest things, and it's like this ancestor's like, okay, I hear you. So I'm coming forward, and this is the manifestation, or at least me telling you this is how this is going to work out, or at least they'll give you advice to get to the best outcome here, okay? Very, very beautiful reading, pile one so far. Let's see. Any other messages here? Before we do have some tarot cards to draw as well, of course, but... yeah, and I do see I might wait until we do the tarot cards to draw if they're astrological sign. But I want to say the elements coming forward so far are both fire and water. So fire, water signs, but we'll see maybe if it's more of like a distinct element coming through when we draw your tarot cards. Actually, let's draw your tarot cards right now. So Ancestor, coming forward for pile one, could you please give us 5 tarot cards that explains more about your advice on the situation? Maybe more about you too. Some double symbolism, if you could. Thank you. 2. Okay, definitely that one. 3. And there's 5. Thank you, Ancestor. And let's unveil the story. The answers here. So first, we have the 5 of Cups reversed, overcoming a sorrow. Yeah, so it's like something really disappointed you recently, pile one, and you're like, damn, like, I really wish that would have worked out. I want that hope renewed. I want the secret to renewing that hope, like the Lenormand says. And so your ancestor's coming forward to say, this is the advice I have for you. I want to give you the tools you have or that you need to overcome the grief, the sorrow of whatever the loss or maybe the obstacle of this was. With that 5 of Cups reversed. Beautiful, which is also water. So we have another prominent water element coming through. Let's see what else we have. The 8 of Wands, another fire. Okay, 8 of Wands is the speed of things, especially being upright. It's about things going quickly. Very interesting. Once again, though, we do have a prominent water feature, even though this is technically a fire card, right? So, overcoming grief or sorrow with speed. Justice is the core card, being fair. Okay, so there's also an element of this too, pile one, where there was fairness in question. Either you felt like something was more fairly yours, or it might lean into that, like I was saying before about how you're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm worthy of this. There might be a little bit of a self-confidence thing, especially with internal validation having come up as your Wild Harmonics Oracle today. And so maybe it's the feeling of being the core card of, man, is this really fair for me to have this thing? Or maybe you're on the opposite where it's like, oh, it would be fair for me to receive this. Okay. Then we have the 7 of Cups reversed. Yes, desiring things, but not being sure which dream to chase, or not being sure what direction to take with a dream. Okay, being kind of caught between ideas here. Once again, a water card. So, let's draw the last one here before I say 9 of Pentacles, the fruits of our labor, something you've really been working hard on, pile one, and you're like, man, I want all that blood, sweat, and tears I've been pouring into this to come to fruition. That's what the Nine of Pentacles means. Okay, so definitely if I had to ping down who this ancestor is, yes, died in their sleep, feminine energy, piercing eyes, likely worked with fabric craft, but also there's a lot of water symbolism here. You have water in the Taylor, you have water in this Lenormand card, and you have a lot of cups, and cups is water in tarot. Okay, so I want to say they were probably a water sign. Okay. One of the water signs as either their main sun sign or the majority of the signs in their chart of who this person was. Let's see here, looking at your cards though. Advice. Yeah, overcoming the sorrow with speed. To adjust outcome. To decide your dreams from the fruits of your labor. That's how I would translate that. So let's see, one moment, pile one. Okay. So their main advice in your situation right now, pile one, is really letting what seems fair be your guide. And I say that because the main card you got as your core card here was Justice. And it doesn't really need much explanation. It's kind of like what it says on the tin. It's a very straightforward tarot card. It's all about, what is legally fair. It's all about what is fair in terms of morality. It's all in terms of fairness and in terms of to each according to their need. Okay. Justice can specifically refer to legal battles because, we think of, literally she's holding lanterns, but it's literally the justice skills that Lady Liberty holds, or you see the typical depiction of justice with the blindfold and the scales in her hand, right? And so letting justice be your guide and fairness. And the other good news here, pile one, is that at least with these first two cards, I don't see too much need of effort or work on your side in achieving this thing, the renewal of this dream, the secret to renewing this dream, like your Lenormand says, because you have the Five of Cups reversed next to the Eight of Wands, and that means overcoming a sorrow or a setback with speed. Okay, so if you're looking for this to turn around or this thing to be renewed soon, you're in luck because you do have the card of things happening quickly next to overcoming setbacks or sorrows with the Five of Cups reversed with the Eight of Wands. Okay, so that's also fantastic. So part of the ancestor message here today isn't so much about, you have to do this thing or you have to get there doing, there's not a lot of action on your part required. This reading feels more like a message from your ancestor on sometimes good things come to those who wait. Sometimes you can do all you can to try to get to a certain outcome, pile one, but every once in a while, it's more so in the hands of the universe. It's like the imagery they're showing me right now is like you building a house, and you've already built your half of the house and your half of the house is standing, and it's like right now it's like they're just wait for the universe to build that other half of the house. Okay, so you've already done pretty much all you can to assure that this will come to the result that you're looking for. It's just waiting for the universe to take it, that energy that you poured into it to manifest this thing and build up its end of return for the energy that you poured into it. Does that kind of make sense, pile one? And like I said, with speed, with the Eight of Wands, that means things happening quickly, right? And then also what's interesting too is we have, like I said, the Seven of Cups reversed, and then we have the Nine of Pentacles at the end here after Justice. And I would say the Seven of Cups reversed, like Justice, is almost more advice in terms of not something that you have to physically do, but more of a mental shift that they're suggesting takes place here. So focus on fairness and what is fair and justice, right? Okay. Know that will guide your path is thinking, well, what's the most fair outcome here, right? Have I put in ABC? Therefore, it's interesting. They're showing me Like, you can't get a loaf of bread without putting all the ingredients in first. You have to put in the flour, you have to put in the eggs, you have to put in the salt, etc., baking powder or whatever, yeast, things like that. And it's like you're standing at the bowl or like the loaf of bread, and it's like you're yelling at it to rise faster or to bake faster, and this ancestor is like, okay, just let the universe cook a little bit. Just to use some modern terminology, but like, just let it cook. Sometimes it needs time to rise. Sometimes it needs time to cook and bake, okay? And, let the, yeast work it out and put in the bubbles, right? Put in the air and the fluffiness of the bread, okay? Letting it take some time to simmer and let it kind of cook, and bake. So that mental shift, with that 7 of Cups reversed, it's good that you're goal-focused, pile 1. They're commending you for that, but at the same time, they're like, okay, just don't get frantic about it. Just keep your eyes on the prize. Keep doing what you can when you can, and know that it's okay to not worry about it when you've already done what you can control on your end. Okay? That's kind of what that means. It's what the bread metaphor is, you put the ingredients in. You just got to give it time to bake, okay? And then the 9 of Pentacles here is also a great card as the outcome card because, as I was saying before, the 9 of Pentacles is about reaping the fruits of your labor, okay? We see like a woman here in a vineyard, or, well, that's the traditional depiction of the 9 of Pentacles. Specifically, she's in a sunflower patch, right? So she's tended to these sunflowers all summer, and now she's reaping the fruits of her labor with birds coming forward and eating the sunflower seeds, so she attracted the birds that she wanted to have come to her garden, and she also has these beautiful flowers around her. She's enjoying what she put effort into. So that tells me, pile 1, at least on the current path you're on right now, your ancestor is saying you're gonna get there. Your outcome is the fruits of your labor and enjoying them. Okay. So honestly, this reading is more of a calming reading from your ancestor of like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Things are gonna work out. Overcome the sorrow with speed, focusing on justice, letting the universe bake things a little bit with your dreams here, and then you'll reap the fruits of your labor, if I had to summarize all of your tarot cards in like one sentence. And also part of that mental shift might be as well the shift of the self-esteem confidence thing I was talking about earlier with the internal validation. Like, pile 1, I think part of what's fueling your insecurity or the desperation for this thing to work out is maybe a little bit of a lack of confidence deep down inside in terms of, I keep being drawn to justice, and I think it's almost like you feel like you don't deserve it deep down. And it's like you want the universe to come through for this thing to work, because then it would prove to you, yes, I am worth this because the universe gave it to me. But what your ancestor is trying to tell you, pile 1, is you're worth this because you were the one that put in the blood, sweat, and tears into this in the first place. They want you to feel more confidence based on the value of everything you've accomplished so far, everything you've poured into it, and know that, and when it does come along, to pat yourself on the back and say, this wasn't just the universe. This was me. I put effort into this, okay? So they want you to feel a little bit more proud. They want you to kind of puff your chest up a little bit, take a deep breath, raise your shoulders, or I guess puff them back a little bit. I always think of like, if you're familiar with yoga, like mountain pose in yoga, where you kind of spread your shoulders back a little bit and you puff up your chest while your arms are down, right? Confidence in knowing I don't have to keep begging because I have the power to make it so. And by begging, I mean like you begging the universe, please, 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 like they were saying earlier, okay? You have the power, you have the ambition, and when you get it, pile 1, they want you to remember this was all on you. Yes, the universe has to beg things a little bit, but the universe can't create what you don't try to manifest first, okay? So puff your chest up a bit. Be a little bit more confident. Know that you're worthy of it when you get it, and don't doubt it, because maybe in the past that's affected you, where you might doubt, oh, well, is it really fair for me to get this? Hence why justice is the core card, right? Is it really fair that, do I really deserve this? And the answer is yes, pile 1. You deserve the good outcome, is what they're saying, okay? So feel confident when you get it, because they're saying that will help you further down the path after that particular milestone has been reached. So, to summarize your reading, pile 1, the thing that you're hoping for, the secret to the renewal of a dream or a hope here, like your Lenormand says, it's coming maybe quicker than you expect, like with the 8 of Wands. And just remember that as long as you put in labor, the fruits from the universe are coming, and to be proud of it when it does. Okay? So let the universe cook a little bit. Be proud of yourself. Okay? And just know, if you've already put in every piece of effort that you have needed or could, the universe will respond in kind. So that's your ancestors' advice on your current situation. Okay? So that is what I will leave you with today, my wonderful pile 1. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for letting me tune into the energy of your ancestor coming through today. If you liked the reading, if it resonated, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so yet, that just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, pile 1. Bye. Hello there, pile 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about an ancestor message of advice on your current situation. As you recall, the pile leader you chose today was Portal, with the tagline of open versus closed. So some feminine energy coming through here. Almost motherly, we can see, with the mother holding her child here. We'll set your pile leader over here to the left, next to the pine cone, as is our tradition, and let's draw your oracle cards. So yes, I would say, pretty sure this is a feminine energy coming through for you, pile 2, although sometimes ancestor messages come through from people from long, long ago that even before we have records for. Sometimes they're more recent, so I'll try to glean some more details as to who this is. So, ancestor coming forward for pile 2. Could you please bring us to the right cards that will help us identify who you are and or what you would like to talk to them about today? Thank you. Okay, and we have Heir of Dimensional, always, already. Always, already. Very interesting card. So the element of air, interesting, intellectual. And then 3 cards from Lenormand, please. Go. Let's see what's going on here. So we have the book, the lady, and the birds. So reading Lenormand, it seems like the situation that they want to talk to you about today, pile 2, is the secret of a woman's communication, or the secret behind or knowledge about what a woman said, or feminine energy. So there might have been a feminine energy figure in your life recently who said something to you, or has a secret that you're wondering about, or kept knowledge from you, or you're trying to figure out what exactly they meant. That is what this ancestor is coming forward to talk to you about today. And also the presence of the lady tells me, once again, confirming this is probably a feminine energy ancestor coming through for you. Like I said, maybe motherly here, grandmotherly, with the portal card, with the woman holding a child, right? Okay. Almost like, I'm the portal through which you came into the world. Okay, that's why it's feminine energy, right? And then let's look at your Citadel Oracle here. This will tell us more about who this person is. Ancestor, could you give us a card explaining more about who you are? Thank you. What represents you best? The twins. Okay, so this could have been someone who was a twin. Once again, we think of maternal. Because There is, oh yeah, there's water too. So water is the energy on this card, and water is a feminine element, pile 2. The twins, so they might have been a twin themselves, okay, or they might have had twins as children. Okay. Or they had someone that they were very close to that was almost like their twin, spiritually speaking or energetically speaking, and self-protection and dual natures. I get the sense that this is a feminine energy too, who either struggled in their life with defending themselves a lot. I don't know if maybe they were kind of, for some reason the term browbeaten is coming forward, or like they stood up against that a lot. Maybe they had an abusive spouse or something like that, or abusive family, and so they taught you, or at least like the ancestors closer to their generation, right, or descendants, I should say, how to stand up for yourself, how to defend yourself from people. Okay. Might have even been a mirror soul to yours, hence why the twins came out. Like, you know, sometimes you get along really well with certain members of your family, and they don't necessarily have to be, like, your literal twin or like your sibling. Like maybe you have a cousin you get along with really well, or maybe it was like a grandmother or something like that, aunt, great grandmother, things like that. Yeah, so feminine energy, definitely a mother, was either a twin herself or had twins, like I said, and struggled a lot in their life regarding protecting oneself or standing up for oneself, or they did that a lot. Like, there's someone maybe that you look up to that of, you know, an example of a strong feminine energy of standing up for oneself. Okay, that's kind of what's coming through for you, pile 2. And I want to say this is probably a more recent energy, it feels like to me, so I think you might have known this person, or at least you know of this person within your ancestry. They're not like centuries ago is what I'm trying to say. They're more within the past 100 to 200 years or so. I want to say probably even more recent than 100 years ago, but and it's interesting because with your always already card, I'm going to ask about that one. Just one moment of silence. I feel like you're kind of an echo of this person, pile 2. I think a lot of the traits of this person are also embodied in you. And I think maybe you are almost a twin soul to this person. Hence why the twins came out maybe as like a double symbolism there for you. You're almost like this person's mini-me, or like an echo of who they were, maybe struggling with similar lessons of standing up for yourself against abuse, or people trying to control you a lot in your life. Maybe that's been kind of a theme throughout your current incarnation, pile 2. It's like they take you under their wing, or they did when they were alive. Like, here's how you stand up for yourself. Even if they didn't literally tell you how, pile 2, it's like through their example you learned this is what a strong feminine energy is. This is what a woman who stands up for herself looks like, okay? Kind of a, I'm going to say it, she's kind of a badass, whoever this is. Guardian energy, yeah. Fantastic. And always are ready. So yeah, and then just to reiterate, pile 2, before we do draw your tarot cards, because I will do that as well. So the situation at hand that she wants to talk to you about is the secrets behind a woman's communication, or something that a woman said. That's what she's, or knowledge of what a woman said. Maybe you're curious about, even if it isn't specifically what someone said to you, it's like maybe you overheard it and you're wondering, well, what did that mean? Or what was the truth behind what they said? Something along those lines, okay? So let's draw your tarot cards, actually. So, Ancestor, coming forward for my lovely pile 2s. Thank you. Could you give us around 5 cards that explains more about what you would like to say to them? What would you like to tell them regarding this situation? Thank you. 5 cards around there. Thanks. Okay. Oh boy. So there's one. I'm going to take these two because they were coming out together. 2, 3. I think that's, yeah, that's just 2. Okay. There we go. And let's unveil your tarot cards here. So first is the 2 of Swords, making a choice. Where do I shoot my arrow, even when I feel blind? We have, okay, Judgment reversed. There's a lot about birds with this person, pile 2. A lot of bird symbolism. Because not only do we have the birds from Lenormand, we have the birds or the herons and the twins, and then we also have a lot of birds in the background of the Judgment card. We'll see if any more pop out. So Judgment reversed. Not being able to move on from something or moving forward. Then we have, okay, the Lovers can mean a relationship with someone. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. Can just be a close relationship connection. Can also mean a choice, which is interesting because you also have the 2 of Swords that came up, which can also mean a choice of some sort. So a relationship. Then we have the 3 of Wands. Action for the future. And we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Feeling like we don't have the inner security materially that we need. Okay, so what's going on? Advice on your situation here. One moment of silence. Oopsie. If you heard that noise, that was I have a pencil up here that fell over. I want to say there was a situation where it's like you felt you couldn't respond to something, pile 2, or like you felt like you didn't know how to respond to what this woman said. Like, how do I respond to that? Is the question I keep hearing. Or it's like they cut you off before you could say something and it was like it just didn't go right. Or like there was a miscommunication because of it. Yeah, because the core of the reading here with the Lovers being the central card, right, is a close connection or relationship, either, well, romantic or can be platonic as well. So it was like you, either the woman involved was the close relationship, or you talked to someone in a close relationship about what this woman said, or they told you what she said, and you were like, huh? Like, how do I respond to that? Or like, what did that mean? But yeah, it's like you couldn't communicate back, or you're not sure how or what to say. Yeah, because the 2 of Swords, yep, making a choice, and the Lovers can also mean a choice. You're like, what the heck do I do? How do I respond to this? Okay. How do I respond to this? It's like you're very stuck on it with Judgment reversed. You're like, I'm not sure. How the heck do I respond to this? I can't decide. What's the right thing to do? Okay, and what they're telling you, pile 2. And I'm gonna first say this. Think about who this person was to you, this ancestor coming forward. And you're immediately gonna know the answer when I say, what would they have done in this situation? Okay, that's your hint. But the longer version is you have the 3 of Wands with the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Taking action, okay, on plans that you've made. You've already been thinking about it, obviously. Feeling secure. Because this female ancestor coming forward, pile 2, would she have ever felt insecure about telling someone something? Would she have ever hesitated in telling someone something? I'm going to guess probably the answer is no, pile 2, based on this ancestor's energy that's coming through. She probably would have, I mean, I don't want to say that she might have been blunt, in her lifetime. She's still kind of coming forward a bit more blunt here, but, she would have embodied the Queen of Pentacles upright, okay? And a Queen of Pentacles upright is someone who is secure materially, okay? Someone who is grounded, someone who is sturdy and doesn't let a light breeze knock them down, embodying the element of the earth that is in the pentacle suit here, okay? And so with this card being reversed as your outcome, currently you're on the trajectory towards maybe, you know, when you do respond to this, or maybe if you've already responded, the outcome has been maybe you didn't come off as secure, or you won't come off as secure. But the good thing about tarot readings is that with advice, you can change that path. So embody more of the energy of this female ancestor pile 2. Okay. Embody that Queen of Pentacles upright. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles upright is almost like, for some reason I always kind of associate, and I know Taurus is technically, you know, an earth sign, right? Maybe that's why. But I think of like a bull specifically. Would a bull back down from a challenge? You know, would a bull be afraid to, well, I know they can't talk necessarily, but I mean, would they be afraid, or would they be sturdy when they stand their ground? There you go. That's a really good phrase for that. And so you're being given advice from this female ancestor. Stand your ground. Be decisive, okay? Be confident and secure in the way that you communicate regarding the situation with, you know, the knowledge of what a woman said, okay? Or the secret of what a woman said, things like that, okay? So yes, that can manifest either in, if it's someone that you're responding to, be a Queen of Pentacles upright, or embody the energy of this female ancestor when you do it. Or at least the next time you interact with them. If it's more about, like, a past-oriented thing, some of you might be like, well, this was past energy, and I was just curious, like, what they, like, you know, it's like you're obsessing over what this woman said, and you're like, man, I really want to know the secret behind why she said that. And if that is the case for you, pile 2, if that's how this reading applies to you, basically this female ancestor is saying, toss your worry out the window, okay? Like water off of a duck's back. Be secure. You don't need to hover and worry about things people said in the past that are of no use to you anymore, that just drag you down and make you anxious or upset or feel bad or things like that. Keep plodding forward stubbornly, okay? Embody that earth element of I am secure, I am grounded, okay? Like I said, a slight wind can't just knock you over. The slight wind meaning, in this situation, what someone said, right? Yes, so if I had to summarize your advice, pile 2, ask yourself, like I asked you at the beginning of this section of the reading, what would this female ancestor do if she were in your situation right now? And embody that. That's what she's telling you to do. Follow my example. Follow my lead, okay? That's also maybe why the twins came out, and why there's so many repeated symbolisms of, like, mother and child, okay? Like, this is an inherited thing from a previous generation. An echo of who this woman was is you, and that she's pushing you to, please, be my echo. Do what I would have done, okay? Use the life that I had as your example to walk forward, okay? Or, you know, maybe if it was the opposite, where maybe she did kind of struggle with standing up for herself, she could be saying, learn from my lessons that I didn't, or it took me a while to get there, okay? Things like that. But I want to say, for most of you, this female ancestor, I'll repeat it, she was kind of a badass. That's what I'm going to say. So, definitely strong feminine energy here. Also someone very intelligent, very intellectual. And looking over the elements of your cards here, I want to say, there's not really one element. I want to say well-rounded. Someone that was very down to earth in her lifetime. Beautiful. And then I will ask, I am being guided to ask an extra question for you today, pile 3. I kind of want to ask, what's the outcome of this situation if you follow her advice? Because I think that will also help you feel a bit more confident, is kind of knowing, okay, yes, I've been given the advice, but if I know the outcome if I follow that path instead, then that will help me feel more confident in the doing of that action, right? Okay, so let's draw. Actually, I'm going to do Lenormand because Lenormand is really, really great about blunt wording, okay? And I feel like with this particular ancestor, she would appreciate Lenormand a little bit more than tarot. So, ancestor of pile 2 that's coming forward, in your blunt manner, as we'll say it, could you give us 3 cards that explains what's the outcome if they should embody more of your energy here in this situation? Thank you. What's the outcome if they change their trajectory following your example? Did she give you a thumbs up a lot, pile 2, if you knew this woman in her life? She keeps giving a thumbs up for some reason. Okay, we have the clouds. And the birds again. Lots of birds. Bird symbolism. Well, I promised I would look for more birds. I don't see any, but yeah, bird symbolism has been quite prominent. And then we have, ooh, the ring, the promise. Okay. So the outcome, if you change your trajectory on being more, embodying more of that Queen of Pentacles energy in the situation, pile 2, and or more of the energy of who this woman was when she was alive to you. See... Oh, okay. One moment. So she's saying, pile 2, that if you embody her energy in this situation as your advice to take, there's something to do with, like, something having been obscured or confusing with the clouds. Something having been obscured or confusing that's communicated about a promise or a bond or an agreement, because that's what the ring means in Lenormand. So I want to say it's like whatever confusion came forward before, it's like things will be cleared up. And like a promise or a bond will be like vowed, okay, or like spoken of with the birds. And I know that sounds kind of vague because that might apply differently to everyone watching this particular pile, but I want to say it's like, yeah, so confusion communicated of a promise or confusing communication of a promise. But I want to say that it's like, it's almost, it will bring more clarity, okay. Because communication with, like, that's what the birds means in Lenormand. It will bring clarity to a promise. But the clouds passing, yeah. No longer obscuring the light. Okay, so that's the outcome if you do embody her energy in your actions going forward with that particular Lenormand reading. Beautiful. Yeah, I think you'll be fine, pile 2. She's just saying she wants you to feel more secure in yourself, okay? Standing strong. She's also coming off as very tall. That could literally mean that she was physically tall in her lifetime, pile 2, or maybe she came off as someone who is very tall, even despite maybe not being physically tall, because of her presence. I want to say she almost was intimidating in a way, but not mean intimidating. Yeah. Just a very strong woman in every sense of the word. So yes, that will bring clarity to the promise or the agreement. Well, that is what I will leave you with today, my wonderful pile 2s. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting me tap into the energy of your ancestors for today's message. If you liked the reading, if it resonated with you, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, pile 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on an ancestor message about advice on your current situation. As you recall, your pile leader you chose today was reflection with the keywords outward versus inward. I'm getting the sense that the ancestor that is coming forward for you today was someone who is very quiet, very introverted. Didn't show their face a lot, or they wore like a covering on the face at times. And possibly their method of, or the way that they passed away was something to do with their head. That can mean either like dementia or Alzheimer's, or I'm also hearing something about like brain cancer, something to do with the brain or the mind or the head, I want to say. But yes, very introverted, very quiet, or at least by the end of their life that they were more quiet. I know sometimes like dementia and Alzheimer's can cause people to, sometimes it causes them to talk more, sometimes it causes them to talk less, especially near the end. Yeah, so I feel like that is who is coming forward. Now, of course, ancestor reading, sometimes that can mean someone from a very long time ago, maybe even before your family's memory of whoever this ancestor is, right? But sometimes it can be more recent. So I'll try to glean kind of what time era I'm seeing here, also more details about who this ancestor specifically is. So let's draw some more cards here. So ancestor of pile 3 coming forward, could you please tell us more about you and the situation at hand and your advice? Any details you can bring forward with synchronicity, thank you. We have Water of Water, Transceptive Resonance. Deep Connection. I want to say this is someone you were close to, so it's probably more of a recent lifetime or recent ancestor. Interesting. And then ancestor coming forward, could you please tell us more about who you were with this particular deck? Thank you. Can you show us how you want to be represented? To pile 3. Definitely that one right there. We have the Witch with the element of water. So, yep, feminine, lots of water. I want to say that they were a water sign or had a lot of water in their chart. Definitely a woman coming through here. And then the Witch says experimentation and rebellion. Could be someone who didn't really follow social customs of their era. Someone who was, and rebellion doesn't always mean like an in-your-face, they were like against the man. I mean, they could have been pile 3, but it can also mean someone that was rebellious in even like tiny ways, okay? An independent thinker, someone who tried a lot of different things in life, someone who maybe literally was into witchcraft or spirituality in general. That could also mean, like maybe they were pagan, or they lived life in a very spiritual way. Interesting. Experimentation and rebellion. Ancestor coming forward for pile 3. Could you give us maybe 3 cards with Lenormand that explains more about the situation at hand that you want to talk to them about today? Thank you. Yeah, deep connection with this person. Water sign for sure. A lot about the mind and the head with the method of death here. 2, 3. Thank you, ancestor. Pile 3. Let's see. What are we seeing here? The clover, the holly tree, and the cross. So, luck, family or health, and burdens or sacrifices. So let's read that here a little bit more clearly. So the message can either mean they're talking to you, and this might differ for each one of you watching this particular pile, but one interpretation of this can mean the luck of a family's sacrifices or burdens, or a lucky family when it comes to sacrifices or burdens. So it could have been recently, like your family you thought might have had to make a certain sacrifice, or you're afraid that they will have to, or like you might feel like, oh, my family is going to get this burden that I'm really worried about. And then they're telling you like you're either looking for luck in avoiding that burden or sacrifice, or like they want to tell you, hey, there's luck coming in this area of your life. We will glean more with tarot cards. I'm going to draw those as well in a little bit, but that, or it can also mean the Lenormand tree can also mean someone's health, especially the holly tree, meaning like stagnant health, because it's the winter tree, right? We think of winter as stagnancy, or it could be timing as well. So it could literally mean winter. And this this reading is coming up in November. So winter is coming for at least a lot of us in the northern hemisphere. Luck over winter's burden, or luck regarding a burden on health or a sacrifice of health. Something along those lines, pile 3. Yeah. It's like you know there's been a burden hefted upon you or your family regarding health, or just the family in general, or you're afraid there is going to be. Especially with timing, with winter here, with the holly tree having come forward. So that's what your ancestor wants to talk to you about today, the feminine energy we were talking about earlier, who's coming through for you. Someone you connected with very strongly, or in general too, it could also mean someone who just had very, very strong relationships. Someone with a lot of water in a reading comes forward to me as a tarot reader as someone that is very connected with people, because water in cartomancy tends to be the element of connections and relationships and emotions, right? There's also a lot about reflections in general, not just because, literally that's the card you picked, right? Duh. But at the same time, you have like a reflection here in water of water. Not only is it like a doubled element, it's also the outline of two figures facing each other, like literally a mirror of each other holding their hands up together. And then even here in the depiction of the moon cycles on your witch card, I mean, literally it's kind of, literally reflected. So you have, the waxing and then the full moon and then the waning here, and then like literally if you split it in half, it could be reflected, right? Of cycles. And I want to say like a pattern repeating. The situation might also be something that was faced by this particular ancestor. So it could mean that you are afraid of something that happened in their life regarding their family or their health being reflected in you, or being echoed, like the pattern repeating, a cycle continuing, or being a reflection of something that happened in their life, hence your pile leader, something like that. It can also mean in a way that there is something about you that is very reflective of who this person was. So that might be another indicator as to which ancestor is coming forward if you're still a little bit not sure. But yeah. And something with the mind, remember, was the way that they passed, their brain, their head. I'm going to ask for an intuitive message here, just one moment of silence. Very oddly, they're talking about grains. And I know that sounds very strange, pile 3. They mean grains as in like grain of, like wheat grains or like cereal grains. I don't know if it's like something to do with like what someone ate, or grains can also mean, like I know sometimes people can have like a gluten intolerance. I know because we talked about health here with the tree. And of course, like gluten is in like bread, which is like made out of grains, things like that. Oh, there's even grains here in the witch. I didn't realize that till now. Yeah. Right here, the grains. Right next to the hands. Interesting. It could be that maybe like they had an allergy that you also have reflected in you. Or there was something to do with like bread or grains that maybe you associate them with. Like a bread that they used to make, or a grain that they used to eat a lot. I know it sounds very odd, but when I asked for an intuitive message, they said grains for some reason. Or they grew a certain grain. Something along those lines. And they keep saying the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Yeah, I feel like you were very close to this person, pile 3. Either in who you are as an echo of them, or like literally during their lifetime. So I want to say this is a extremely recent ancestor, someone you probably have known in your personal life. And yeah, definitely feminine energy. So I'm going to draw your tarot cards and have them come forward a little bit more about the advice section on this reading, on what advice they want to give you for the situation at hand. So ancestor of pile 3 that's coming forward, could you please give us 5 cards or around there that explains more about what you want them to know on this situation, and also maybe have some symbolism about you as a person? Thank you. Okay, well, definitely that one. And 5 right there. Let's unveil your tarot cards, pile 3. So, first up we have the 10 of Swords reversed. Overcoming the ending, overcoming feeling defeated. Interesting. It's like something came to an end. Something came to an end. I just realized, pile 3, I'm sorry I'm hesitating here on your tarot cards, but I was looking at the Lenormands. This can also mean that the situation they want to talk to you about is about maybe if you were a caretaker for this person, like not that they were a burden, obviously, because if you were a caretaker for them, obviously you probably love them, right, pile 3, but like the burden of health makes me think of like a caretaker, like you were caretaking for them, something like that. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I said that before I forgot. The King of Pentacles reversed. Okay, maybe something to do with finances or feeling insecure about finances, not sure. We have the 6 of Swords reversed. Okay, so as the core card, this is about moving or not moving somewhere, or it could also mean metaphorically like to greener pastures or not, where the grass is greener. We also have a Strength. Okay, willpower and confidence and courage. And last but not least, we have the 9 of Wands reversed. Feeling like we're losing determination in some area. Yeah, pile 3, what's really coming forward with these tarot cards today is this ancestor keeps emphasizing like a feeling of defeat here, because not only do we have the 10 of Swords reversed, we also have the 9 of Wands reversed, and the 10 of Swords more specifically reversed is about feeling like picking up after what we thought was the ending of something, or like beginning something anew after we felt really defeated in some way. And then the final card here, like I said, the 9 of Wands reversed, is about feeling like, oh man, I just want to give up. I want to rest. It's been a long battle. If this was regarding the health of this person, if you were like a caretaker for them, maybe you're just at the point of like overcoming the grief of having lost them. Maybe you lost them recently, is why they're coming forward. Or it could mean too, like this particular health or family issue that you've been dealing with, indicated by the Lenormands here. It's like, I don't know, you feel really defeated with it. It's like you're not sure where to turn, or you're like, I don't know what else to do to try to fix this. And especially the 6 of Swords reversed, it's like unable to move on as the core card mentally. Like, I feel like I'm not ready to move on, or I feel like, maybe you want to move on somewhere, maybe even literally like an actual move, pile 3, but it's like, you're like, I'm not sure, and I'm not sure it's going to work out, especially in terms of finances here with the King of Pentacles reversed. That tells me someone maybe is like struggling with like medical bills, if this is health related, or it could mean like the price of moving on, in terms of like if this literally is moving for you, something along those lines is what they're referring to, and then having the courage to keep going. So what I'm going to tell you, pile 3, in terms of your advice, Oh, I also want to say to this person, based on these cards here, you do have an abundance of swords. I know you also had water. Okay, so they might have had a lot of water signs in their chart, but the swords are air. So I want to say that this person might have been an air sign as their sun sign, their main astrological sign. Oh, and then once again, I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I just noticed this too. I'll get to your advice in a second. I'm sorry, but I just noticed this. Look at, like, there's arrows in his head. Like, there keeps being repeated imagery of something to do with the mind or the head being hurt, which just tells me once again that I think my intuition was correct in that this is what they died from, with something to do with the mind going wrong or being in pain, or maybe that's the health problem that you've been dealing with either within yourself or someone else in your family, hence the Lenormand cards that came out. And then, yeah, financial issues or questions around that. Can I move past this? Can I overcome this? And what they're telling you, now we get to the advice. I'm sorry, I got so sidetracked because I kept noticing things. But pile 3, these 2 cards right here, Strength and the 9 of Wands reversed, are pieces of advice from this ancestor to keep going, okay? Right now, it feels like you're running out of steam a little bit. Maybe that's even why you clicked on this reading, because you wanted some confirmation to help you kind of get that steam back up and going of, please give me hope to keep going. And so on your current path with the 9 of Wands reversed as the outcome card, now this can change, but on your current path, you seem to be on a path towards feeling defeated or being defeated in some way, or at least being very, like, tired after all of this. And you're like, man, is this even the right choice? How do I move past this? Especially with maybe having some financial questions or struggles in mind, or, can I afford this might be one question. But what this ancestor is telling you is embody the strength of the strength card is kind of redundant, but you know what I mean, of being confident in oneself, of taking life by the horns, okay? Literally, like this female figure right here who has her hand on the nose of the lion and is taming it, right? I mean, it takes courage to put your hand on a lion's nose. I mean, that's why this is the particular depiction of that card, okay? They're telling you to keep going and keeping with your determination on whatever path you're on right now with this. They're definitely telling you, yes, I understand it's difficult what's going on right now. There seems to be a lot of uncertainty guiding this, the emotions on your end, I think, is what they're telling me. Like, you're just uncertain about finances. You're uncertain about, can I really do this? Can I really make through? And they're telling you, please, please keep going. Please stay on this path, okay? Don't let defeat overcome you, okay? Please lean more into your strength here and your willpower and your courage. I will draw some extra advice cards for you today, pile 3, but that's what's coming forward right now, is to stay on the same path and keep going, okay, with this current situation. Yeah, I will ask this ancestor, what advice do you have for them on keeping going? What would be the best thing for them to know in terms of, like, if you could tell them advice on this, what would you tell them, the ancestor? Thank you. Around 3 cards, please. Advice on keeping going. So first up, we have the Ace of Wands, okay? Finding reasons to... Oh, hummingbirds, it's so pretty. Finding reasons to keep the spark alive, your passion alive, your willpower alive, okay? Because the Ace of Wands is fire, and fire in tarot is all about our willpower or our creativity, our confidence, and our passions, okay? Let's see what else pops out before I say too much on that, though. We also have another ace, but reversed, Ace of Swords, okay? They're telling you, do not follow new ideas or new paths here with the Ace of Swords reversed. Because normally I call this like the light bulb moment card when it's upright. Like, it's like, oh, I got a new idea in mind. But reversed, it's almost like saying, in terms of an advice card, I would say don't go with the new idea with Ace of Swords reversed. And then, ooh, temperance reversed. Interesting. Okay, lack of balance or moderation in things. They're saying, in terms of advice on staying on the path going forward. So piece of advice number 1, pile 3, is please find reasons to keep going in terms of what makes you passionate to stay on this path with the Ace of Wands, okay? Maybe even if this is like a health-related thing, they're telling you find creative outlets, because the wands can mean creativity or fire, right? Find creative outlets to help you keep your passion for living, or your passion for getting through this alive, okay? Things like that. Or like if it is like a family-related issue, if that's more the interpretation of the Lenormand, as is applied to you, specifically pile 3. Yeah, just lean into creativity, lean into your passions, okay? Because a lot of times when life gets tough, indulging in our passions and our hobbies and things like that can help us really get through the hard, difficult times, okay? And then yes, Ace of Swords reversed, I'll just reiterate, I would say that this is advice against going with new ideas and keeping going on the path that you're on right now. Like, it's almost like you're coming to like a split in a path and you see, well, I could technically veer off and try this path because the path I'm on right now, oh man, this is kind of drudgery, or like, it's like, you're not sure you could stay on it, right? They're saying, stay on the path. Don't take the new idea or the new path, okay? And then temperance reversed is all about like needing more balance or moderation in things. There's something about the way you need to tackle this where you need to be a little bit more moderate, or like have more equal distribution of energy between different areas of your life, tackling whatever this particular issue is for you, pile 3. Okay. More balance. More equal distribution. Okay. And I want to say that's specifically more about, here, I'm going to ask your ancestor something. 1 second. They're saying what makes sense to be balanced. Like, what makes the most sense to you, pile 3? Okay, because right now there might be something that's just a little bit off kilter, a little bit, too much energy in this particular area of whatever this path is, and you needing to like distribute it more equally. Like, for example, maybe you've been thinking about tackling this problem and you've thought a lot about the financial side of it, but you haven't thought as much about, the, say, like, well, what's the mental effect or the emotional effect or consequence of this? Things like that. It's almost like thinking about the benefits or the ways to tackle this in a more balanced way rather than just focusing exactly on one aspect of it. That's kind of what they're telling me. So, yeah. But yeah, keep on the path, keep going, keep your spark alive. Moderation and balance in all things. Okay. Beautiful reading, pile 3. So that's what I will leave you with today. Thank you so much for tuning in for this ancestor reading on your current situation. Thank you for letting me tap into the energy of your ancestor today, pile 3. If you liked the reading, if it resonated with you, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our custom on the channel, our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, pile 3.